Ever run out of storage space at the worst possible moment? Whether it's your computer, phone, or camera, running out of space can bring your work or fun to a screeching halt. But what if you could double or even triple your storage without breaking the bank? In this video, I'll break down everything you need to know about storage devices, from traditional hard drives and blazing fast SSD to portable USB drives and SD cards. You'll learn how to choose the right storage solution for your needs, avoid common pitfalls, and never worry about running out of space again. Ready to upgrade your storage game? Let's dive in. Storage devices. A computer has two main types of memory. We have the main memory and secondary memory. The main memory is temporary, which will be discussed later in the course. And the secondary memory is permanent. That's what concerns the hard drive. The hard drive is a closed enclosure that contains magnetic disks. These disks are where the data is actually stored. They can spin at very high speeds, and it is the actuator arm that writes or reads the data from the disk. These magnetic disks can rotate at speeds of 5,400, 7,200, or 10,000 RPM. Today, the most frequently used drive on a desktop computer runs at 7,200 RPM. Drives that spin at 5,400 RPM are cheaper and are more likely to be seen on laptops. And high-end hard drives spin at 10,000 RPM. They are therefore more expensive and not used too much, because SSDs go even faster. Hard drives are said to be non-volatile because they can keep and store data, even though they are not powered. Hard drives today use the serial ATA interface. On the image, we have two types of hard drive, SATA and the IDE. They can be easily identified using their connectors. Here is an IDE connection, and here is the SATA connection. The IDE hard drive allows a transfer of about 10 megabytes per second, while the SATA hard drive allows you to reach about 35 megabytes per second. I say approximately because it is according to the standards. This threefold increase was a revolution when SATAs came out. But today, SSDs allow a much higher transfer speed, i.e. about 150 megabytes per second. The advantage of a drive with SATA connectivity is that they can be hot swapped, and the cables are much smaller. This makes it easier to handle. The other type of storage device, which we're going to talk about, is the solid-state drive, SSD. These disks have the great advantage of not having a mechanical inside. That is, the components are fixed because they use flash memory chips to store data, and since there are no moving parts, well, the data transfer is much faster. There are also drives that combine both magnetic and flash memory disks. These are called hybrid disks. Hybrid drives take advantage of the large capacity and low cost of magnetic drives with the speed of an SSD. In a hybrid drive, magnetic disks are used to store data, while flash memory is used for data caching. This type of drive is more commonly used when budget is an issue, as SSDs are much more expensive than magnetic hard drives. We have just seen the types of disks that are stored inside a computer. There are also removable disks which allow them to be transported very easily as they connect to the outside of the computer. This can be, for example, USB flash drive, external hard drives or SSDs, or even the good old tape drive, which allows you to make backups. The tape drive is an inexpensive way to back up data from your hard drive. It connects to a computer, usually with a USB cable, and then the data is backed up sequentially to tape. This means that if you need to restore the data, then you will have to do it in the same order that you backed it up. These types of removable storage, which we have just seen, are both convenient and portable because they are not stored internally in a computer. We will now move on to CD-ROM drives, which have become a standard component in today's computers, but not for very long. It is a device that reads data from a CD-ROM, compact disc read-only memory, which is a disk that stores permanent data. The word CD-ROM literally translates to compact disk with read-only memory, which means that data can only be read and cannot be modified or written. While the CDRW in compact disk rewritable stands for rewritable compact disk. A CDRW drive can modify or write data to a CD. The difference with a CD-ROM drive is that it has a mobile laser set, which allows it to burn the data to a CD. There are two different types of CDs that can be written to. There is the CDR, which represents a recordable CD, and the CDRW, which stands for a rewritable CD. The CDR can only be burned once, but a CDRW allows the data to be rewritten multiple times. CD-ROMs contain about 700 megabytes of data. Now, let's move on to the DVD-ROM drive, which is a device that plays DVD discs. The DVD drive has largely replaced CD-ROM drives simply because they have a larger storage capacity. And yes, a DVD can store about 4.7 gigabytes of data. And in addition, all DVD players can play both DVDs and CD-ROMs. Like CDRW drives, there is also a DVD-RW drive, which allows you to modify or write data from a DVD. The principle is the same. That is to say, that you can write to a DVD-R and rewrite to DVD-RW. So, some DVD burners have the ability to burn DVDs in double layer. In this case, have the calls of the DVD-RWWDL players for dual layer. Dual layer DVDs can therefore store twice as much data as a regular DVD. That's about 8.5 gigabytes of data. To continue, we will move on to Blu-ray, which is the last optical drive to be released since 2006. As for the DVD, which replaced the CD, the Blu-ray will eventually replace the DVD format due to its capacity. Blu-ray uses a laser with a shorter precision than DVD, which allows it to store much more data. Because a standard Blu-ray disc can hold 25 gigabytes of data, which is 5 times more than a DVD. And as with recordable CD and DVD players, Blu-ray also has a recordable player, which is nicknamed a BDR player. As for the recordable disc, it is called BDR, and for a rewritable disc, it is BDRE. As mentioned above, a Blu-ray disc can hold 25 gigabytes of data. Well, as with DVD, it is possible to double the disk space with double-sided discs, which can therefore hold 50 gigabytes of data, which is huge for a record. Now we're going to come back a little bit to external hard drives, which is simply a drive enclosed in a case. It becomes a portable hard drive that can be connected externally to any computer using a USB cable. External hard drives are mainly used to back up data from a computer's internal hard drive with the aim of preventing data loss. Another type of removable storage is what is called an SSD, which remembers, does not contain any moving parts. This type of backup uses memory chips to store data. This is called a USB flash drive. The USB flash drive is a miniature storage device with a USB interface. This type of equipment can store up to several hundred gigabytes and is small enough to fit on a keychain. The USB flash drive is a quick and convenient way to store data on the go. Now, let's move on to digital cards, which are better known as SD for secure digital, which is an equally popular type of flash memory. They are mainly used in digital cameras to store photos and videos. The advantage is that it is very easy to recover your data on a computer using an SD card reader. There are other types of SD cards, like mini SD and micro SD. By the way, The micro SD card is commonly used in most smartphones to add extra space. We will now see another type of flash drive, which is widely used in digital cameras of the DSLR type. This is the compact flash card. This type of very compact card allows quick and easy storage of photos and videos in digital SLR cameras. And then, they can also be very easily transferred to a computer using a card reader. Before we finish the course, we're going to see another type of card that's not a standard. It's the old XD photo card, where the initials literally stand for Extreme Digital. It was a proprietary type of card in Olympus and Fujifilm cameras. And we'll finish with the eMMC technology, which stands for Integrated Multimedia Controller and is simply an internal memory chip, which is mainly found in smartphones. This technology allows it to be extended to the world's own market. That's why it is mainly found on our mobile phones, coupled with a micro SD card to expand disk space. Basically, it's an internal memory, or one that's built into a tablet or smartphone, so it's not external storage like an SD card.